Going to look at New York State's next generation English language arts learning standards. Now, what does this actually mean? What is this next generation English language arts learning standards? Well, you should know this, that in 2017, the State Board of Regents came together and decided to revise the Common Core standards. And so what you're looking at is that the exams this year will reflect these new standards. And more than the exams, just the way schools are going to go about teaching ELA has changed significantly. So there have been major revisions to the Common Core, which began in 2011, and these major revisions are now reflected in this New York State Next Generation Learning Standards, both for math and English. I'm going to focus today on the English and just give you an overview of that, okay? So let's move on and let's see what we have. I'm going to scroll up the screen. This is the actual document from New York State, and you will see that there are anchor standards, lifelong practices, and so on and so forth. We're going to focus on just a few things today because it's a lot of information and I definitely don't want to confuse you. First of all, let's take a look at the reading anchor standards, and this is going to be true for each grade level in different ways. So, what do they want your kids to be able to do? Well, when it comes to key ideas and details, and then I'm going to mark that up for you just a little bit here, key ideas and details. Want to focus on this section here, okay? They're going to ask your kids to read closely to determine what the text says explicitly or implicitly. These are very important words here, explicitly and implicitly, and then make logical inferences from it. Then cite specific, okay, once again, specific textual evidence when writing or speaking to support the conclusions drawn from the text. This is really important for you to understand. Your children need to be able to read with comprehension. And comprehension means being able to determine what the text says overtly, which is explicit. Notice EX means out. What the words actually say, but also they need to figure out what's implicit, what is being stated, I guess between the lines is the best way to say that. They need to read between the lines. What is the author trying to convey implicitly? What should you be able to infer or take from what the author is saying, what the text is saying? And notice how many times the word text is mentioned here. Textual evidence, okay? Text, what the text says. Text. This is an age of media, social media. It's an age of YouTube. It's an age of videos. But parents, please understand, every state and every homeschool classroom, wherever you teach, text is the key to learning. It will always be the key to learning. There may be other modes of learning that might come along 100 years from now. But for the last 2,000 years, students are educated when they know how to read and draw information from text, books, documents, written things. And yes, I know that their current world militates against that. They're always on their iPhones. They're always doing this, doing that, watching YouTube, watching television, cable, whatever they watch to get news and information from. But education still demands that they get most of their information from written sources, the text. This is why this is so important. And this is not a major change from the Common Core. You might hate the Common Core, whatever you feel about it. But again, the issue was getting information from the written text. And then look at Standard 2. Determine central ideas or themes of a text and analyze their development. Again, the text is central. Analyze how and why individuals, events, and ideas develop and interact over the course of a text. Standard 4. Interpret words and phrases as they're used in a text, including determining technical, connotative, and figurative meanings. And analyze how specific word choices shape meaning or tone. Standard 5. Analyze the structure of texts. Include how specific sentences, paragraphs, and larger portions of the text relate to each other and the whole. This is really important. I'm going to underline this here for you. Analyze the structure of texts. Your children need to take an analytical view of what they read. It is not just their ability to read the words, which can be fluent phonetically, but their ability to understand, to draw ideas from. But that ability comes from knowing how to analyze the structure of a text. Look, analyzing specific sentences, paragraphs, and larger portions. In other words, what your children need to be able to do, whether the state says it or you say it, whatever's going on, education around the written text is based on the ability to analyze the text in part and then as a whole. They need to know about specific sentences, and that's why I keep encouraging parents to get your children the best grammatical information. They should study grammar. Grammar is not just P's and Q's and punctuation. Grammar is the ability to analyze the written text, to analyze the structures of sentences, yes, and of words. This is really important, and it's not just because it's the next generation idea. My gosh, this has been the old generation idea. Every educated child in any civilization where written text is important must learn how to analyze the structure of text. And if I'm pounding away at this point, if I'm homing in on this, it is because without the ability to analyze sentences, paragraphs, and larger portions, they will never be able to know how those portions or ideas relate to each other and the whole. And grammar, the study of syntax, word order, sentence structure, spelling, punctuation, those are the keys to helping your children comprehend the whole. They must know the parts in order to know the whole.